Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, greetings. I thank the Cheong Kong Graduate School of Business for this invitation to speak at this event. Women and girls represent half the world's population and therefore also half of its potential. Throughout history, women have played an essential role in driving economic growth, innovation, and social development around the world, with their leadership visible across various sectors. Today, 30 countries have women as heads of state or government, while countries such as Cuba, New Zealand, and Rwanda have seen gender parity in their national parliaments. Despite similar advances, full gender equality remains an ongoing challenge. Large gender gaps persist across the corporate leadership, with women holding only 19.7% of the board seats, 6.7% of board chairs, 5% of CEOs, and 15.7% of CFO positions. These gaps not only exist in senior management but across the labor market. There continues to be a 25 percentage point gap in the global labor force participation rate amongst women and men, with only 47% of women in the labor force, while for men it is 72%. The United Nations is therefore committed to making gender equality and women's empowerment reality, with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development offering a blueprint for addressing persistent gender gaps and the related cross-cutting development challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, amongst the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, goal number 5 targets gender equality, women's empowerment, aiming to eliminate discrimination, end violence, and promote their full participation in leadership and in the decision-making processes. As the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, and I quote, "We must support women's organizations on the front line. We must invest in programs to end violence against women and to drive women's inclusion and leadership in economies, digital technologies, peace building, and climate action." End of quote. Over the past decade, China has made meaningful progress in advancing gender equality by implementing policies in support of women's rights, leading to greater women's education, participation in the workforce, and improved income distribution. However, while progress has been made, more work remains to be done. The United Nations in China's cooperation framework is aligned with the country's 14th five-year plan to support more family-friendly policies, including parental leave, equal pay, and changing norms in the allocation of household work, while recognizing the care economy as essential for maximizing women's contributions to the economy. This is assisted through the efforts of UN entities in China, such as the UN Global Compact, who through the Target Gender Equality Accelerator engage with over 80 companies to support capacity building here while bringing men on board as allies. Similarly, the UN's efforts here strongly focus on fostering South-South cooperation efforts to support more progress on gender equality in China and around the world. Gender equality is not merely a fundamental human right, but an essential and urgent necessity that will support long-term economic prosperity and stability while reducing inequalities. Extensive research has shown that women in leadership can support increased productivity, enhance collaboration, and inspire better organizations. However, realizing this dividend requires leadership, investments, and a comprehensive policy reforms to dismantle the systemic barriers that keep women from such roles. The private sector must take a leadership role here, putting gender equality at the very center of its efforts in pushing for economic, social, and governance frameworks ahead. The international community and China can also assist by enhancing efforts that ensure women's central role in decision-making processes, allowing us to meet the central promise of the 2030 Agenda and the SDGs and to leave no one behind. Ladies and gentlemen, together the United Nations in China stands ready to work with all to forge a world where every woman and girl can thrive, free from fear of gender-based discrimination and violence, fully empowered to realize their fullest and truest potential. Thank you very much. 谢谢。